Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tom Spark. Today we're taking out SurfShark VPN. This is a VPN I've kind of seen popping up lately. It does seem to kind of have some kind of deal with Litecoin testing out Lightning Network. I'm not sure how big of a deal that is in terms of being exclusive there or anything like that, but maybe just some extra content for them to kind of market themselves as a VPN. We've also seen SurfShark being in various comparisons on various websites. And overall, it does seem to be, spending a decent amount of money on marketing. So is the service any good? Or is it just another VPN that spends everything on marketing and doesn't have any, valuable product for the end user? So in this review, we're going to check out several things like pricing, security, speed, features, those kind of things that we check out with VPN. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the channel, my name is Tom Spark, and I've been reviewing VPN since around 2015 or so. I've reviewed tons of VPNs, over 50 to 100 around that range, and my top rated VPN you'll find in the description down below. But today we're focusing on SurfShark VPN to help you decide if it's a VPN worth using. So right now we're going to check out some basic things from the website just to get a feel and a little bit of impressions. I'm testing out this VPN in this video. So right now we're going to go to pricing. So it is finding some coupons. But with SurfShark, we do see a standard pricing offer of $11.95. And a best offer for 2 years of $349 per month, which is roughly $83 per year. And we do see that one year plan of $71, roughly $72. I don't really know why they don't just do $72. Why does it have to have these weird incremental cents right there? It's just kind of weird. But we do see kind of a focus here on trying to get you to pay for these longer subscriptions, which in my opinion is never that great of an idea. Usually when you see VPNs pushing these really long commitment plans, it means that they might not have the best speeds. So they might be kind of limiting your bandwidth certain months down the line. You're not really sure what kind of service you're going to get 1, 2, 3 years later on. Who knows if the VPN still even exists? And you're going to have to pay this up front. You can't just pay $349 a month. You're going to have to pay for it all at once. So it's pretty much saying you're going to love the VPNs for 3 or 2 years in a row, which is never a good idea in my opinion. But of course, we haven't tested it out, the VPN, yet, so let's take it with a grain of salt. But we do see $11.95 is per month, which is pretty expensive, right along the lines of Express and NordVPN and some of these other expensive VPNs, which are more premium VPN options. But I don't know if they really offer that much more. We do see a decent amount of payment options here with cryptocurrencies supported between various options here with Ripple and Bitcoin, as well as coin payment support, which is good to see. So you're pretty much going to be able to play with pretty much any currency you want. We do see credit card options here, as well as PayPal and Alipay and some other options like TenPay. So let's go ahead and make an account and see what we're getting ourselves into. So checking out the website, we do see live chat support options, which is good to see because not every VPN supports live chat. And even some of my favorite VPNs, like, something like Rated VPN, doesn't always have live chat or even have live chat at all. A lot of VPNs like private internet access don't support live chat anymore. So it's always good to see a VPN that does support live chat. However, some VPNs like Windscribe admittedly do seem to use bots in live chat. So we're going to see if this is a real person and if they really know their stuff. Hello. Do you know what type of encryption you use for SurfShark? So it looks like we do have kind of a question right there, but we're already in the queue. So maybe this is just kind of like an automated kind of answer question, not necessarily from support. So it looks like Matt has joined the chat and he is typing. Hello. Look at that. Am I talking to a model? Or am I talking to a customer support agent? So they use military grade AES 256 encryptions. How does this server work with unblocking Netflix? What would be the procedure? So I asked him a little bit of a tricky question here. Let's see how long it takes him to respond. It's been a little bit. Geez, how long is this gonna take? So they're saying that I could pretty much connect to any server and that it should work. We're gonna have to test this, see if it works. If that does work, then that means SurfShark is a small enough VPN provider that it's just gonna work with Netflix when they have more users. That's what he says. Yeah, so when they have more users, it's probably not going to work like that. I know even some VPNs that are pretty small, like Air VPN, some of the servers do work with Netflix just because Netflix isn't really paying attention. But we do see bigger VPNs having more problems, certainly with Netflix. All right, so we went ahead and paid with some Bitcoin, and now we're going to test out the application. Overall, using cryptocurrency to purchase SurfShark was pretty easy, so we're going to go ahead and download the application right now. Alright guys, so this is what the app looks like. Admittedly, it is a bit plain here for how it looks starting out. Let's go look at the settings. We have the basic email right there, the 1 month showing you when it is going to expire, and we do have some settings here. We do see the bulk of the settings here within general bank connectivity, so we do have some options here to configure when it starts, auto connect features and various features for specific Wi-Fi. We do have some notifications, some security settings here, which is good to see. We do see the kill switch, which is something I'm always looking for. We do see some adware kind of stuff for blocking pop-ups and things like that, which is good to see. We do see some top tier VPNs supporting this, and we do see some selected apps to bypass VPN, which is kind of interesting. So similar to kill switch in a way, but kind of like the opposite maybe. And we do see some specific websites that bypass VPN as well. So I actually quite like this feature. Pretty cool thing to see. But we are perhaps missing some features. Looking into the advanced section, we do see some protocol options here, like automatic options or picking the various different options here. So overall, I think these are pretty good protocols to select here to use for SurfShark. So nothing too sketchy here, not using PP2P or anything to maximize speeds, using outdated protocols ECC. We do see some crash reports and no borders mode. So we probably don't really want to use crash reports. We do see new borders mode. This is a smart feature that protects your internet freedom if it detects you're in a restricted country. Let's go ahead and look at what that actually is. Looking up at SurfShark's website, I couldn't really find too much information about the no borders feature, so I'm not too sure, exactly what it's doing. So we do want to kind of go into a little bit of a comparison here between SurfShark and what I would consider a top tier VPN, because after all, doing a VPN review, you need to compare it to perhaps the cream of the crop. What does the best VPN offer? And that's kind of how I do these ratings. So in terms of SurfShark and its application, in terms of security features especially, we do see a decent amount of options here between kill switch, clean web, and the whitelist feature. And we do see some advanced features like letting you kind of change the protocol here, but overall it's not too advanced. We do see no borders mode, even though I couldn't find too much information about the details on what that is. Now compared to something like TorGuard, which is the top rated VPN on the channel, we see a bit more options here with connection. We do certainly see that. We do see a little bit of options here with various connections here. But you can see with TorGuard, there's simply a little bit more to configure if you want, as well as various configurations with appearance, although maybe that's not something that's super important to you. We do see the application kill switch here with TorGuard, and as I already mentioned, we do have a kill switch here. However, TorGuard not only has the application, but it also has a network kill switch, which can be very convenient, as well as seamless reconnect and various other DNS features here, which you can configure, which is often important for maximum anonymity. Now, in terms of proxy settings, we do see additional proxy support, so you could use kind of like a double layer to anonymize any IP or prevent any IPs from leaking out. We don't really see that from SurfShark here, and we do see custom dedicated IP support from TorGuard VPN, offering various IPs that you can connect to special services to pretty much prevent any kind of blacklisting that could be happening with the VPN. We do see the debug folder as well, but overall TorGuard does offer a bit more features, a bit more bang for the buck in terms of total customization and extra anonymity with the network kill switch, script support additionally if you really want to become a power VPN user, as well as proxy and server support like I mentioned. So let's go ahead and move into further tests. So looking at SurfShark here, we do see a decent amount of servers here, and as well as some multi-hop options there. But in terms of optimal location, it's just going to pick one. I do like VPNs that offer the optimal location feature, although they don't always work as well as you'd want them to. Sometimes it picks the wrong location, gives you subpar speeds, but in this case it seems to be picking an ideal server. So let's go ahead and move on to the next section of the review, which is going to be speed tests. So first up, we're just going to do a basic internet speed test with speedtest.net to get kind of a general idea of what kind of ping we're going to be getting, what kind of download and upload as well. So additionally, without VPN, I'm getting around 20 ms, around 170, 180 Mbps, and upload would be 5 to 6 to 7 Mbps. So we're also going to do a torrent test in just a second to get more of a real world kind of comparison to see what kind of speed loss we're going to get. So that way we could tell you what kind of speeds you can expect with SurfShark. Now this is optimal server locations. So with SurfShark VPN, we got 67 ms, 31.70 Mbps, as well as 3.70. So we do have kind of a degradation of around 6 factors. So instead of 180 megabits per second, we are getting 31, and ping is around 3 times as much. So it is quite a bit of an impact here. Let's go ahead and do a comparison again with my top tier VPN to show you some representation of, what kind of speeds you could get maybe with the best VPN there is. So for the purposes of this video and for accurate texting, we're going to be using the same kind of server that we use with SurfShark. So that's going to be a Seattle server. And then we're going to do a test to see what kind of speeds we're going to get with TorGuard VPN, just to do a bit of a comparison here. So once this says verified, we are connected. See, we are disconnected from SurfShark and connected to TorGuard. So now we're going to test out what kind of speeds we're going to get. So you can see here, we did get around the same kind of ping actually, but download rate is much quicker than SurfShark VPN. So as you can see here, we should expect this VPN to be much better for torrenting and downloading things overall. But let's go ahead and move on into real world testing, show you kind of what you can expect with actual tests and real world needs. So we are connected to SurfShark VPN right now doing a real world torrent test. We do see around 2.1, 1.8, kind of in that range for megabytes a second. Alright, so we let this speed test run a good amount of time, getting around the same kind of speed. So let's go ahead and swap this out, turn off SurfShark and turn on TorGuard. Alright, so now we're going to turn on TorGuard and connect to it and see what kind of test we're going to get. Alright, now that we have TorGuard connected, we're going to start the speed test and see what kind of speeds we're going to get. So keep an eye down here at the speeds. So remember, SurfShark was around 2 megabytes a second. So right now, just starting out, looks like TorGuard's around 5 times faster for torrenting than SurfShark. So actually, we're going up. That was around 14.3 megabytes a second, which would be around 7 times faster. All right, guys, if you do remember that customer support agent claimed that pretty much any server would work with Netflix, so we're connected to a Seattle server. And we're going to see if it works, checking out something here. So it does work. Very nice indeed. So looking at SurfShark, it does seem they have a no logs policy. Doesn't really seem they collect too much, but we could look in more detail in their privacy policy. And they do collect some information like your email address, basic billing information, order history. And it seems like they do collect diagnostics like crash reports on the apps, performance data, frequency use of services, unsuccessful connection. So they do collect connection logs and other things like this. They collect information on their website and application. So the website would be traffic data. So it seems like when they use the app, they may collect advertising identifiers, unique user resettable IDs for advertising provided by third parties, Google Play. Advertising IDs are used for marketing purpose and user analytics. So overall, it seems like they do collect a fair amount of information. So a no logging policy isn't exactly what I would call this. It does seem like they collect some information with their applications, maybe on the Google Play Store and stuff like that for marketing and advertising. Overall, not the best logging policy in terms of what I would like. All right, guys, so let's wrap up this SurfShark review. We're going to run down quickly through some of the things that I mentioned already and kind of give you a summation of what I think of SurfShark VPN. Now, in terms of pricing, $11.95 a month is quite expensive. Comparing similar VPNs, again, to my top-rated VPN, TorGuard, with comparable features, including the ability to unblock Netflix, would be around $9 a month. So it's $2 cheaper than, or around $3 cheaper even than SurfShark. So it's going to be around $12. $11.95 is pretty much $12. So $3 a month cheaper is quite a difference. In terms of yearly pricing, we do see SurfShark being around $71. So TorGuard's going to be $60 in terms of 3-year pricing, or I mean 2-year pricing, $83. It is a decent deal, but again, we don't really want to sign up for longer than yearly plans because it's just too much of a commitment, right? Because you have to pay it up front. So in terms of pricing, I would say SurfShark is definitely on the more expensive side, especially if you don't need Netflix. You could get even cheaper options like TorGuard for around $5 a month, or private internet access, which also is a good option, for around $7 a month. So overall, I would say that for pricing, SurfShark doesn't do very well. It's a little bit too expensive in terms of my opinion, since you could get better speeds, similar features like unblocking Netflix with something like TorGuard. So again, not the best pricing. Now, in terms of software and features, SurfShark is pretty decent, pretty much middle of the line. The application is a bit bare bones in terms of the appearance, but that's not really that big of a deal. It does have most of the mandatory security features like kill switches and stuff like that. We do see good protocol options like OpenVPN and good AES 256 encryption. We do see some cool features like ad blocking and stuff like that. But overall, it's lacking some of the oomph and customizability of a top-tier VPN app, as we discussed already. Overall, I would say that the software and features are pretty good, but nothing that special. Now, in terms of speed, SurfShark is, again, pretty much middle of the line. It's not going to give you the fastest VPN speeds, but it's going to be serviceable for streaming and basic torrenting. Now, is it going to be top-tier speeds like I mentioned already? Well, no, it's not really going to come close. TorGuard VPN is 5 times faster, so keep that in mind. TorGuard VPN is 5 times faster for torrenting and much quicker in terms of our speed test. So is SurfShark going to be a top tier VPN in terms of speed? Well, not that either. Now, does SurfShark have good customer support and live chat? Well, it actually does seem to have pretty good live chat options. Support was fairly quick to answer my questions, even though it took them a little bit of time to answer my Netflix question. But overall, not too bad in terms of customer support. We also do see a 30-day refund policy, which is pretty good in my opinion. Now, in terms of Netflix, this is probably where SurfShark impressed me most, in that you could just pretty much connect to any server and have it working with Netflix. However, SurfShark is a fairly new VPN provider, and it wouldn't surprise me if when it did get bigger, it would have more problems working with Netflix. Usually the best VPNs that work with Netflix and are very popular do have a lot of problems, especially when you don't have to pay for something extra like a dedicated IP. We do see VPNs like ExpressVPN and NordVPN working with Netflix at times, but they do have a lot of problems with people having various outages. Maybe they don't work with Prime Video. So overall, it's just kind of a hit or miss depending on which server you pick, or having to rotate through certain servers, or having it blocked one day and working the next, etc., etc. So similar to AirVPN, that actually does work with Netflix sometimes. It seems like SurfShark does work with Netflix right now, so that's pretty cool to see. Now, in terms of logging policies and stuff like that, SurfShark does collect a fair amount of data in terms of basic connection logs and stuff like that. But it does also seem to collect some marketing data and stuff like that from its various applications. So if you're someone who wants a very anonymous and no logging VPN, I can't say for certain that SurfShark does seem to be the best anonymous option. Instead, I would check out something like TorGuard, as I mentioned already, or maybe even something like AirVPN, which have great logging policies and don't really collect much of your data. Now, in total summation, is SurfShark a VPN I would recommend using? Well, if it was a lot cheaper, then it wouldn't be the worst VPN, since most of the features do work as requested. But most of the features here are pretty middle of the line. You're not going to have the fastest speeds. You're not going to have the most secure customizable app. And you're not going to have the best logging policy. Does everything work? Well, it does work pretty fine. But overall, just an average VPN in my opinion. Not something really worth the price. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this in-depth review of SurfShark. Go ahead and check the link down in the description down below if you want to use my recommended VPN as seen in this video. That blows pretty much every other VPN out of the water in terms of ejected tests. Anyways, guys, thanks for sticking around for my objective, non-biased reviews, and I'll see you again very soon.